Hi friends, it's Jasmine, your Vancouver, Washington Realtor extraordinaire. Before we get started, if you're planning a move from California to Vancouver, Washington, I'd love to help you navigate it with confidence. You can fill out my buyer's questionnaire linked below. It only takes a minute and it helps me understand exactly what you're looking for. I'm also available via call, text, email, so don't hesitate to reach out. Now, let's get into it. What does it really cost to move from California to Vancouver? I'm not just talking about buying a home, I'm talking about moving trucks, car shipping, cost of living, taxes, and everything else that hits your wallet when you make a major relocation move. I've helped so many clients make this exact move, so today I'm giving you real numbers and real insights based on what it actually takes. If you're leaving California because you're tired of the high prices, the traffic, or feeling like you're just scraping by, you're not alone. A lot of my clients are looking for a fresh start, somewhere they can breathe a little easier financially and emotionally. Vancouver, Washington offers that reset while still keeping you close to a major city with access to nature, great schools, and a slower pace of life. And the best part? This isn't just theoretical. I'm walking you through the exact costs I've seen again and again so you can feel fully prepared before making such a big move. Let's break it all down. Let's start with the actual cost of the move because this part catches a lot of people off guard. Moving from California to Vancouver, Washington is a long-distance relocation, and depending on how much you're bringing and how you're transporting it, costs can vary significantly. If you're hiring full-service movers, a studio or one-bedroom move typically runs between $1,300 to $4,500. For a 2 to 3 bedroom home, the range is more like $3,000 to $7,000, and for larger homes, it can go as high as $9,000 or more. These usually include packing, loading, transport, and unloading, which can be worth it for peace of mind, especially if you're on a tight timeline. If you're more budget conscious or don't mind getting your hands dirty, renting a moving truck like a U-Haul or Penske can cut the cost in half. Just keep in mind, you'll need to factor in fuel, hotels, meals, and the physical labor of packing and driving long distance. Some families choose to do a hybrid move, packing themselves, then hiring movers to load and unload, which can also reduce expenses. Shipping a car is another cost to account for. Most people pay between $1,200 and $1,500 to have a vehicle transported from California to Washington. Also, depending on where you're coming from, many clients choose to fly up while their belongings are in transit, which usually costs $150 to $300 per person. If you're traveling with pets, you'll want to budget for airline fees, vet paperwork, or emotional support documents if applicable. Also, don't forget the smaller stuff that adds up, things like temporary storage, typically $100 to $250 a month, short-term Airbnb stays while waiting for your home to close, and packing supplies. Some clients even hire junk removal services before the move, especially if they're downsizing. I always recommend padding your relocation budget by at least 10 to 15% to give yourself some breathing room. A well-planned move is so much less stressful, and knowing these numbers ahead of time can help you step into your relocation feeling calm and prepared. Let's talk about housing, because this is usually the biggest reason people leave California in the first place. The price difference is real. In 2025, the median home price in California is hovering around $780,000. Compare that to Vancouver, Washington, where the median sits closer to $509,000. That's a difference of over $250,000, and it stretches even further when you look at what you actually get for your money. In Vancouver, you can find well-maintained, single-family homes in the high 400,000s in neighborhoods like Orchards, Minnehaha, or Cascade Park. If you're looking for something newer or a little more upscale, places like East Vancouver, Fisher's Landing, and Philida offer beautiful homes in the $600,000 to $700,000 range, and they often come with larger yards, newer appliances, and more square footage than you'd find at the same price in California. In many cases, you're upgrading your lifestyle and saving money. Renters feel the difference too. In much of California, especially in cities like San Diego, San Jose, or Los Angeles, a 2 to 3 bedroom apartment can easily cost $2,800 to $3,500 or more. In Vancouver, the same space typically runs between $1,700 and $2,100, sometimes less depending on the location and amenities. That's a massive monthly savings, which can be the difference between barely getting by and finally being able to save or invest. Housing in Vancouver gives you a chance to reset. I've had clients move here and go from cramped apartments in California to spacious spacious homes with backyards, garages, and quiet streets, all while spending less each month. Some are buying for the first time, others are just looking to slow down and start fresh. No matter your reason, what you'll find here is that your money works harder for you. And with the way the market is trending, a move to Vancouver isn't just more affordable, it's a move that can set you up for long-term stability and growth. Housing isn't the only area where you'll notice the savings. One of the most consistent things I hear from my clients after relocating is, everything just feels more manageable here. And that's not by accident. When you look at the data, Vancouver's overall cost of living is about 7.5% lower than California's. And depending on where you're coming from, it can feel even more dramatic. Groceries here tend to be about 10 to 12% cheaper, and you won't see the same level of inflated pricing you might be used to in big California metro areas. Gas prices are also lower, not by a mile, but enough to feel it. Right now, Vancouver tends to run about $1 to $1.50 cheaper per gallon than many parts of California. If you're commuting or just driving around with kids, that adds up quickly. Other day-to-day expenses are also easier to manage. Childcare in Vancouver costs roughly 10% less than in California, and many families find more flexible part-time or co-op style options. Dining out, car insurance, utilities, all just a bit more affordable. It's not that life is dirt cheap here, it's not, but the pressure eases. You can breathe, you can build, and you're not constantly looking over your shoulder wondering how you'll cover your next bill. Let's talk about one of the biggest financial shifts when you leave California, taxes. If you've been living in California for a while, you know how intense that state income tax can feel, especially if you're self-employed, a higher earner, or even just doing okay. In 2025, California's state income tax ranges anywhere from 1% all the way up to 13.3%. That's a huge chunk of your paycheck going straight to the state every year. Here in Washington, that number drops down to 0. There's no state income tax at all. And for a lot of my clients, that's one of the biggest reasons they move here. It's not just about buying a more affordable home, it's about keeping more of what you earn. If you work remotely, if you're retired, or if you own your own business, this move can instantly shift your financial picture. Now, Washington does have a higher sales tax. In Vancouver, it's about 8.7%, but here's the local trick. Portland is just 15 miles away, and Oregon has 0 sales tax. So a lot of people live in Washington, earn their income here tax-free, and cross the bridge when they want to make big purchases like furniture, electronics, or even groceries. You'd be surprised how many people plan their Costco runs around this. It's one of the few places where you can actually have it both ways. Live somewhere with no income tax and still shop in a state with no sales tax. That combo alone can save you thousands every year. Let's talk about work, because for most people moving from California to Vancouver, the big question is, will I need to change jobs? And if so, what is the job market like? For a lot of my clients, the dream scenario is keeping their California-based job and working remotely. And honestly, that's becoming more and more common here. If you're already working from home or have a flexible employer, relocating to Vancouver lets you maintain your income while drastically lowering your cost of living. I've had several clients tell me they've never saved as much money as they have since making the move. Not because they got a raise, but because their expenses dropped and their income stayed the same. If you're planning to find a new job after relocating, the good news is that Vancouver's job market is solid and growing. We're seeing steady demand in healthcare, especially with Peace Health being one of the largest local employers. Education is strong too, with local school districts and colleges often hiring. And there's a lot happening in logistics, manufacturing, and construction thanks to continued development in Clark County. If you're in tech, the Columbia Tech Center is home to several companies, and of course, Portland's tech scene is just a short drive away. Another advantage, commutes are easier here. You're not sitting in 2 hours of bumper-to-bumper traffic just to get to the office. Many people have a 15 to 30-minute commute or even choose to bike or walk, depending on where they live. It's a different pace of life, and a lot of people find they're more productive, more rested, and less stressed once they settle into it. And if you're self-employed, the savings stack up even more. No state income tax, lower housing costs, lower operating expenses, more time. It's the kind of environment that helps you stretch your income and actually enjoy the fruits of your labor, instead of watching it all go to rent, gas, and taxes. Let's talk talk about what it's actually like to live here, because the lifestyle shift is real, and honestly, it's one of the biggest reasons people fall in love with Vancouver after they move. Coming from California, the first thing you'll notice is how much slower and calmer everything feels. People aren't in a constant rush. There's space to breathe, both literally and emotionally. You've got quiet neighborhoods, friendly strangers, and a real sense of community, the kind where neighbors wave when you drive by or stop to chat while you're walking your dog. Nature is everywhere. We're talking evergreen trees, rivers, lakes, and trails, all within minutes of where you live. If you've been craving more time outdoors, or you're the kind of person who decompresses with a walk or a hike, Vancouver is going to feel like a dream. You've got the Columbia River right here, and places like the Columbia River Gorge, Mount Hood, and the Oregon coast are just a short drive away. Now, yes, it does rain, more than California, but here's the thing. Most people adjust quicker than they expect. The rain is often light and misty, not downpours all day, and you learn to love it. It makes everything lush, green, and peaceful. Plus, we actually get seasons here. Crisp fall days, cozy winters, cherry blossoms in the spring, and long golden summer evenings. It's refreshing, especially if you're coming from year-round heat or drought. And something people don't always think until they experience it, the energy here is different. There's less of that hustle till you burn out mindset. People still work hard, but they're also into balance, into family time, weekend road trips, farmers markets, and enjoying life. It doesn't feel like you're constantly behind. It feels like you're finally in rhythm with your life again. Alright, so you've made the move. The boxes are in, the keys are in your hand, and now it's time to settle in. But before you get too comfortable, let's talk about the first month, because there are a few expenses that almost everyone runs into when they arrive. First up, the DMV. You'll need to register your car in Washington and get a new driver's license. For most people, that runs between $100 and $200 depending on vehicle type and if you need new plates. It's not the most fun errand, but once it's done, it's done. Then there's getting your home set up. Even if you brought furniture with you, chances are you'll still be buying things: a new shower curtain, trash cans, tools, maybe a piece or two that fits your new space better. Some clients spend as little as $500, others go up to $2,000 or more depending on how furnished they were before the move and what they want to upgrade. You'll also be restocking your pantry and buying everyday essentials, cleaning supplies, toilet paper, laundry soap, the stuff you don't always think about until you need it. That adds up fast, so I usually suggest setting aside $500 and $800 for those initial grocery runs and household needs. And don't forget about utilities. Depending on your provider, you may have to pay deposits for water, gas, electricity, internet, or garbage service. Some companies waive it, others don't, but it's smart to budget an extra $200 to $400 just to be safe. Altogether, most people spend somewhere between $1,500 and $3,500 in their first month, depending on how prepared they were and how much they're starting from scratch. It's totally manageable, especially if you plan ahead, and once you're past that first month, things start to feel normal really quickly. So, that's the real cost of moving from California to Vancouver, Washington, from the truck rentals and car shipping to the lifestyle shift and long-term savings. It's a big move, and yeah, there's a lot to plan for, but the payoff? More space, more peace, and the kind of financial breathing room that just isn't easy to find in California anymore. If you're seriously thinking about relocating, I would love to help. I specialize in helping out-of-state buyers make this transition as smooth and stress-free as possible. Feel free to fill out my buyer questionnaire. It's linked in the description below. It takes less than 2 minutes and gives me a clear picture of how I can best support you. And if this video helped you, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and share it with anyone you know who's thinking of making the move. You can also drop your questions in the comments. I read every single one, and your questions might even inspire a future video. Thank you so much for watching, and welcome in advance to this next chapter. I can't wait to help you get started, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Bye!